This is the Red All Over reaction show to last night's 6-0 loss against Brighton and Hove Albion in the Carabao Cup. Our Carabao Cup run comes to an end in a very similar fashion to last season after we got beaten by Man United 7-0 at the same stage as well. So we're going to discuss last night's game when Diego Gomez turned into the reincarnation of Pele, and then we're going to look forward to this Saturday's game against Port Vale. So let's get stuck into it. So, Dean, a very reminiscent scoreline of last season against Man United. 7-0 last year, 6-0 this year. So maybe next year if we get to the third round it'll be 5-0. So in about, 5 years' time we'll get through to penalties. Going at a current trajectory during this third round. But for me, it wasn't a 6-0 game, to be honest. I didn't think Brighton were 6 goals better than us. It's just that they had the best player that the world has ever seen. None of this Ronaldo or Messi nonsense. They're rubbish compared to Diego Gomez.
Yeah, he was astonishingly good. I don't think. I think Connor said in his interview after the game that actually he didn't think it had been a 6-0 game. And I agreed with him, because when I was coming away, I was thinking, in a way, we haven't actually played that badly on the ball. But they exposed what we've already decided and know is our weakness, which is, at the back. And we played an unusual back four, but predictable, I think. And they just couldn't cope with the speed of movement, the speed of thought, the speed of passing. And I'm not surprised, really, when you look at Rooney looked caught in the headlights for quite a long time at the back. Because he's not match sharp yet. I mean, he's played very little football, and to go out and play against players of that talent, I felt a little bit for him, to be honest. Again, Jack Shepherd is used to playing most of his football at League Two so far in his career, and he's coming up against multi-million pound players. Mile was all over the place, frankly. And I'm not sure what kind of player he is, but he definitely isn't a fullback. Maybe a right side centre back at best. But he was exposed, and in my book, he should have stopped that first cross. He was 2 yards away and made no attempt for the first goal. I was screaming at that moment. I was screaming, block him. And, he just didn't. He sort of half turned his back, and the rest is history. And Cooper had no chance whatsoever with it. But blinding goals. I mean, rocket shots from where they were hit from, that no goalkeeper, Craig, I'm sorry, no goalkeeper would have saved any of those three in the first half. I'm not sure, looking at it, he was exposed desperately for the last three goals as well, which all came down the right-hand side. And Josh Earl, I'm not his biggest fan as a defender. I think he's quite good on the ball. He's quite good in the air, but he was found really wanting, in my opinion, when I looked at the goals back. And I was thinking about him today, really, because he is quite popular with you guys. And I was trying to work out, exactly why. And it occurred to me, I never, ever see him on his ass blocking a shot in the box. Whenever the opposition score, he's kind of wandering about. He's out of position or whatever. So all of that said, I've got to put it in context. They were excellent, Brighton. They were great to watch. I didn't find the game particularly miserable. I was very disappointed that half the fans made the way out after the third goal, and I'm thinking, well, what is supporting a football club all about? You don't support them if they don't win, and you walk out of the stadium. And I was really disappointed with that. And hundreds literally left the Ponty end at 3-0. Um, and, they missed seeing a really good, top class, elite Premier League side and looking at where we need to get a lot better as a team, as a club, as a coaching staff, and what have you. And then having the opportunity to think about it rather than just turn up and expect. And if we don't win, they just go out the door, which I was very, very disappointed about that.
Yeah, Craig, it did seem like one of those games. I mean, as much as obviously the result doesn't look great, almost a little bit. I mean, it became a training exercise by the end of it. Probably that third goal when Diego Gomez decided to shoot from 40 yard and put it right in the top corner, and it went about 300 million mile an hour on its way in. It did feel like a goal that it were like, what do we do against? Like, what do you actually do against this? Because this is the golfing class and quality. I think Doug from the Chronicles said that Brighton's 11 were over 100 million quid according to on the values on transfer market if they're out to go by compared to ours. And obviously, I think there was 8 captains nationals in there, including those who have retired and moved on from international football, such as James Milner. So it's not like we were playing Brighton's under 21s and got thumped 6-0 by them. We're playing against players who are playing the Premier League week in, week out. And if anything, as Dean said there, it exposed weaknesses, which is a good thing, I suppose, because it's not like we've lost 3 points in the league where that's where the focus lies. And I think you could almost tell with the team selection that there was half an hour on Saturday rather than tonight, depending on how it went. That as much as it weren't miserable to watch because it's not like that Man United game where we couldn't get out of his own half for the entire game. We actually did create decent opportunities. It's just the absolute golfing quality in terms of finishing were apparent to see.
Yeah, I don't think it was a 6-0 game. I watched the whole 90 minutes begrudgingly. It was horrific to watch, and but no, I didn't think we played too bad. I didn't think there were any glaring errors. I think some of the players could have performed better. I thought Cooper, the, a couple of the goals for me are questionable. I think good strikes, yes, but also I think he probably could have positioned better, or he could have reacted a little bit quicker. I'm not expecting a shot from that distance for a start. I don't think he were expecting it, he were ready for it or anything. Because you're in League One, people don't shoot from that distance. So, I thought Keeler Dunn didn't really damage his reputation in that game. I thought he played fairly decent. Ferrugia, I thought his diving were impeccable. Johnny Russell, I don't know. I'm not going to talk about him. Cleary as well. I'd just get let down by them too. It seems.
Cleary, you
Um,
felt let down by Cleary. I thought
yeah,
just for me in
Oh
that
no,
first half, because in that first half they subbed off their right back at thingy because I thought Cleary was his only bright spark, especially in that first 20 25 minutes. I thought he was only bright spark of every time he picked ball up, he turned, run at his man, he beat him 9 times out of 10. Might not get across him, might get across blocks. Granted, there's 2 international centre halves in there stopping him, but I thought, especially in that first half, he looked one of his better players.
yeah. I think I'm just reeling from former performances. I just expect because I expect him to be able to cut in and have a shot or do something. It just seems to me that when he gets into the final third, he always picks the wrong decision. Like he'll cut back and then somebody's not keeper, or he'll go across keeper and somebody's waiting for a cutback. It always seems to be the opposite of the thing he should be doing. But I also think he's got tremendous ability with the ball at his feet, and I don't think he does it enough. I don't think I don't think he believes in himself enough, and that for me, I think that's worse than having a player that thinks he can do things but he can't. Is having a player that don't think he can do things but he can. It's one of them. But he's young and he's going to grow. Um, Same with Jorgen Nathan as well. Like I say, I love his endeavour, and I think he had a decent game yesterday. I don't think he was too bad at all. I thought Connell as well had a really good game. He seemed to be spraying the ball around, passing forward, which is something that he gets some stick for in past. Obviously, people think he passes back a lot. I actually thought he passed forward really well. Dejivine, for me, is struggling at right back, really struggling. And what I kept noticing yesterday was he keeps reverting back to playing that right centre back role when we played five at back. So he comes in too too quick, and it leaves a glaring big hole on that left hand side, and that's what Watson exploited every single time he did it. I kept saying you're coming too narrow every single time. The ball would go down the right hand side, and it would just one ball over, and Dejivine wasn't close enough to get the to intercept. The ball could bounce a couple of times and still make it to Watson's feet. Um, for me, Rooney as well. I think I don't want to say at fault, but I think he's got some blame for the first goal. Watson goes down the left. It cuts it and it goes across the goalkeeper, just in front of the goalkeeper. But if you watch on the replay, he runs and stops. He waits for the cutback. The cutback doesn't come, but he goes in front of him. And then Jack Shepherd's trying to get his long legs round the striker to cover it. But like I said, that's just always, that's something you learn as a pairing. If he'd have just carried on running, he'd have cut the cross out before it even got to their striker. So that's just my nitpicks anyway. All in all, I expected a loss, and it's what we got. So I can't be mad, I can't be angry, I can't be disappointed that it happened because I didn't expect anything else. Um, so yeah, without it Cup, it would have been nice to get through to the next round. But I do think that Brighton was the hardest team we could have come up against in terms of form and what they've done in the previous rounds. Because I think their squad's unbelievable. If you look at the depth in that squad, I mean, there's not many of them players are actually in the first team that actually start week in, week out. You might get Veltman. Milner doesn't start anymore. Welbeck doesn't start anymore. Gomez doesn't start. Watson doesn't start. I mean, their goalkeeper is better on the ball than most of our players. I think that tells you everything you need to know. That guy, the composure of him, if we could divvy up his composure and get to our players, we'd be a much better team. Because I were flapping near mind him with some times he were on ball and doing these short passes round all our players. He did really well, Steele, and I think he's really good. But yeah, I'm not going to be disappointed. I'm not going to start screaming at players and saying, "Oh, you're the worst player I've ever seen" and stuff like that. Look, we got beat, and we just move on now to Port Vale and make sure we write that result.
I think Jason Searle's composure went out at window though when David Taylor Dunn's shot was sailing over his head and he was on his. He was sat watching him back at net. There was a
He
certain
was flapping a
moment.
bit, wasn't he?
Yeah, there was a certain moment where he thought, "Oh no." Um, Andy, as much as we can sort of say, yeah, it was a decent performance and stuff, we have still shipped 6 goals. We've shipped 7 at this point last season. You look at results last night, I think Lincoln lost 2-1 to Chelsea. Fulham beat someone in our league as well, 1-0. There was only one result last night that had a massive difference in terms of which was us. It does seem, I mean, not that there's a soft underbelly to this side or anything like that, because when you actually look at that game in context, you can, if you look at it from stats, it's like, wow, we've got battered hammered. But it don't really tell the full picture if you've not actually seen it. If it's not as bad. But whilst that said, it does seem like everyone else seems to make these games a lot tighter. Like you look at previous round when Grimsby beat Man United, been 2-0 up, and they had to chuck on £100 million Bruno Fernandes to get back into it, and £75 million Brian Mbeumo to come and fix it as well. Like it does feel like the moments of us being a giant killing team and making these games close and actually a bit of a we might get something from this seem to have passed us by a bit.
It does, and there's different schools of thought. There's one that says, we're in the third round against a quality team, play your strongest side, and let's see what can happen. Or you can say rest them. Give some of the players a rest. They've played a number of games so far this season. Give them a rest and be prepared for Port Vale this coming Saturday. For me, I think the second is probably nearest to the best thing because, let's be fair, most of the players that he picked last night are the players that got us to the third round in the previous two rounds. So it'd be a bit harsh to get to the third round against Premiership Brighton to say, oh, you're not playing anymore. We're gonna put other players on now. You've got us through the first bits. I think that was perfectly right and reasonable. I think there were a number of things about last night. I think the 6-0 is very disappointing, but I think there's a few other things that are both are both good and bad. I think considering he's had a long, long layoff, I thought Rooney did it okay in general. He tried to pass the ball forwards when he got it. It weren't just passing it along the back line. He was trying to go forward with it, and but it's going to be off the pace. Apart from who we're playing, it's going to be off the pace anyway. So he can only get better with that. Whether he's ready or not, I personally don't think so. Um, there are other bits for me. Um, for me, they pressed very quickly. What I like to see, they pressed as a team, and if you notice, when they were pressing a player, one of our players on the ball, they pressed at speed. They sprinted at him, not not sprinting either side, not going either side to try and cut off a pass to this player or to that player, sprinting straight at them with the knowledge that they've got players around them that would press the outlet for the player that they were sprinting towards. We didn't do that. DKD was trying to close them down. He was pressing generally as a man of one. So he's either trying to press to cut off a pass to one fullback, so it's going to the other fullback. And that's not if you're going to press at all, press as a team. You can't expect one player, in our case DKD, sprinting towards the goalkeeper or towards a defender and leave him with loads of outlets because there's no point to that. Either take it in turns, so sometimes don't press, and then other times press as a team, not as individuals. I thought that was stark for me between the two teams. Um, there's also stuff about stats that, again, no shots on target, and you think, crikey, they've scored 6 goals and we've not had one shot on target, and yet we hit the woodwork 3 times because they're not shots on target. We hit the woodwork. I felt particularly felt particularly sorry for two of them. Johnny Bland, I felt really sorry for him because he got the ball, controlled it really well, smacked it with his wrong foot, if you want to put that, his standing foot, if you like, inside of the post, went across nigh on across the goal line. So that was really unfortunate. And we've talked about Gomez and he's they're waxing lyrical about its contender for the goal of the season. No, it isn't. It's this next one that's the goal of the season. And yet DKD came within a whisker of doing a David Beckham from the halfway line and making a fool of Jason in their goals such a shame for him because I thought it was going in. It looked like it was dipping and dipping, looked like it was going to dip in. So, stats aren't always really good. I think the thing that disappointed me more than anything else, and I don't know what the others think of it, but if you look at the stats, and I thought it during the game. Look at the stats. Brighton conceded 23
Mm.
fouls to our 7. Now, what they did when we got the ball and started moving forward in a decent position, what they did
Mm.
is got into us, fouled us. Not fouls that say, get a card, referee, get a card. Niggly little foul, just a little touch, just put them off, just foul them. And it took a while to be able to get, for them to get a booking, despite many such fouls. It broke up our play. What we did was just run aside of them, nice, like a training session. I don't know if we're a bit in awe because they're a Premier League, and I think I know what Craig says about Vimmel, but I weren't that impressed with him. To be honest, I thought I was hoping that he were going to try and push for a start on this coming Saturday, but I don't know if somebody's had a word with him because he started the season by getting under him and being perhaps overly aggressive, not in my personal book, but getting in among them. And last night and for the last couple of matches, he's not done. He's sort of stood off a bit, and I think go back to the old Vimmel when there's somebody said you're sending in like that, Vimmel, you're going to get sent off or booked every game. I don't know, but it ain't. It didn't. And the same as Dean's saying about De Givney, get a block in. You don't just stand there, turn your back, or just watch, see what they're going to do. Get a block in. Shepherd does, puts his body there. Get a block in. You know, if you're a midfield player's going to get a block in. Don't just stand there and hope. Well, hope it don't hit you. So I found that disappointing. 7 free kicks against. We should have been among them and put them down. You know, they did it to us, and I'm not criticising them for committing so many fouls. They did the right thing. They showed when they've got the ball that this is what the mean business. When they haven't got the ball, the mean business. We didn't. We were, for me personally, miles too polite. I like to see us gaining among them, showing them. It used to be called showing them that you're there, putting your sen among them, and showing them that they're there. I know you like. I know. I was going to say I know you like a good tackle, Josh. You like a good foul, Josh. That's what you like, a good foul. And I'm with you. None of this diddling about running at side room. I don't want to see Scott Wiseman play for Barnsley again. I want to see players that are going to get under him and show that they mean business. You might be better than me. A bit like when we were in the Premier League with Chris Morgan. You might be a better than player than me, but I can still hammer you just as easily as I can anybody. So have some.
You ain't been any good when you're going over them Ordins. We're all the same size as them. We're all the same size going over them Ordins.
I can remember, I'm not going to go on about it too much. I can remember being at Leeds. We're right behind the goal at Leeds when Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, who were at the time a really big star, were tackled. Just put it where tackled by Chris Morgan, and they both slithered towards and hit the hoarding behind the goal. And of course, Jimmy, you know, is being killed by 3 snipers when Chris Morgan gets up, looks at the hoarding, nuts it, and then runs back into his position. That's what you want. None of this namby-pamby game too much, game too much respect. Get under them. If they're better than you, you've got to use it. You can't outplay somebody who's better than you. Gomez, £11 million player from Inter Miami, not even Inter Milan, Inter Miami. And, he can't do it when he's on his backside. Don't let him run with ball. Somebody knock him over. But, not that I'm saying that we should foul all the time, but 7 to their 23. Nah. Training session. That's not enough.
Well,
flipping shoot. Anyway, I'm all right now.
I think that I mean this is what happens at Premier League level. They're very, very. It's what they call professionalism. The minute they sense any danger, they're quite happy to foul. And we just not got that mentality. That's not the way it works in League One. And it was so stark, 23 fouls. And I was a bit disappointed with the referee in that sense. I mean, I don't go on about referees quite like you do, but
I'm not mentioned ref.
Yeah.
Yet.
But I do think with so many fouls, he might have done something more about it. At least, got the captain over and said, look, you can't keep doing this, otherwise, you're going to get a whole load more bookings and a sending off or whatever. So I was disappointed with that. But I think you've hit the nail on the head, really. When you look at, have we got any real hard guys? I mean, the last guy who got himself stuck in was Liam Kitchen, of course. And we haven't got any Liam Kitchens. I think Jack Shepherd's got the potential to do that, but he's still learning the game at this level, I think. But maybe, having watched the Grimsby game, yeah, they did get stuck in. And they made the opposition think a lot about what they were going to do with the ball when they got it under control and whether they were going to get clattered or not. And they quite often did get clattered, and it unsettled them all. And I don't think within the club we've got that. What I would say about Jurgen Nathan was in the first 15 minutes, I was talking to my daughter about it, sat next to me. I said he won the 5 tackles in the first 15 minutes, but then I don't know whether he got tired or whether, they got wise to him and played away from him. And by the 60th minute, he'd been chasing shadows for however long it was. And I thought he was doing exactly the job that I expected him to do. But after 15 minutes, it dropped off. So 5 winning duels in 15 minutes will get a lot of plaudits, I suspect, from the coaching staff. But it didn't continue.
Yeah, it did. Yes, I don't know. There was one moment I think in that first half, that's when we were kicking to right hand side, and I think he nicked it off. Like we nicked it quite high up, and we had a decent opportunity, and he got hacked down by one of the Brighton players who quickly just went and sort of dealt with it. They've lost the ball in a bit of a dangerous area and went and dealt with it like that. And it seems it's just something that we're not doing. I always think we've been always been a bit too nice. I'd probably say last person that weren't a nice player to play against is now coaching us that we've had in that club. I remember when played Peterborough, who won last minute. George Williams header, and Connor got their midfielder sent off by standing on his foot right in front of the referee, and just got a reaction from him and got him boxed. Like there's no one that does the dark arts, would you call it, Andy? Very well. Maybe James Norwood was all right at it.
Hauser, yeah.
But
just
I do
play
feel
dirty sometimes. You just got to do. Sometimes there's unsavoury things that you've got to do, and Brighton were a prime example of it. On the ball, outstanding. The pass and move, the going for it, the sprinting, all that were exemplary. As was, although it irritated me, as was the little fouls to break up play. They did right. I'll give one shout out. Brighton fans, full of admiration for them because they brought many, many more fans than I thought they would all the way from the south coast. A lot more fans, and they were in good voice. I got sick of hearing Diego, hey, all that. I got sick of hearing that. Even my brother started singing it outside of me, so it irritated me even more. But well done to them for making such a long trip to make it a pretty, for what we expect it to be about 2,000, about 7,000 and odd crowd. So very well done to them. I hope they had a good evening.
I had one sat next to me. Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic evening.
Oh, you've done well, Josh. You've gone all this way. You've not mentioned 7-0 against Man United for her and all. For ages.
No, not mentioned that at all so far in this show. Yes, get your thoughts on last night's game down in the comments below. Were you a little bit disappointed with the actual outcome of it, or did you think we played reasonably well and 6-0 was a little bit flattering? But then again, I think the only way to make it fair was Diego Gomez in first half and we have him in second half. I think that's the only way you could have evened it up and made it fair, because he were an absolute joke of a player. Right, looking forward then to Saturday as we welcome Port Vale to Oakwell. Craig, a side that is currently sat 19th, I think, in the league. I have not looked at the league table though for about 2 minutes, so I've now definitely forgot what number that is. 8 points, -2 goal difference. So a side that really seems to be hanging in. And I think when you look at the results, sort of 0-0 against Cardiff, a couple of 1-0 losses against Doncaster and Reading. It's not like they're getting blown away week in, week out, and they're sat like rooted down there and they're really struggling and they're sort of inconsistent. They find a way to stay in these games and just either not getting the rubber green or I get the rubber green to see them over the line.
No, they're definitely performing a lot better than the league table should suggest. I know people don't tend to like XG stats, but they would be in the top 5 if XG was the real table. They've conceded more goals.
It's not.
Yeah, because we'd be further than that table because we're outperforming our XG at the minute, and but Devante did that for us. I can remember saying it a few times.
For
No,
half a season.
they've had trouble putting ball in net, and obviously the fetched in Devante Nine has got 3 goals on track for them in the last 3 games. Obviously, they're on a spin of winning last 2 games. Or should be bottom or second bottom, I believe. Darren Moore coming back to Oakwell. It's not been an happy hunting ground for Darren Moore though. I think he's only won once in the last 5 times he's played us. So or his teams have played us. So that's quite good. And obviously we've not lost it on this season neither. So it's all looking like it could be a positive result for us. I just think we're going to have to weather a couple of storms. I think they're going to come defensively, but I think they're going to have attacking periods where they come out and they'll attack us, and we'll need to weather them storms. I think also I like what Connor says, where he says good teams don't lose two on the trot in the league. Obviously, I know we've lost two if you had that Brighton, but that's not, you can't have that. In the league, I'd like to say I hope he gets that into the team that we lost last minute last game, and I think we're actually I'm going against the grain and what people say. I think we deserve to lose that game. I thought the second half against Blackpool we were dreadful. I think we got pressed off at pitch, and personally, if I were Port Vale, I'd take that blueprint and I'd fetch it to Oakwell. I'd say, look, press them. These guys can't take it. They're not quick enough with the ball at the feet. We look really lethargic at times in that game, way too pedestrian. We're going to need to improve because teams are going to see that second half and see that as a blueprint to beat us. So I'm expecting to have players on training pitch, get this Brighton defeat off us back straight away. Get the good feeling coming back. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be an easy game. I think. Well, you'll see with my prediction later what I think. But yeah, it's going to be a lot tougher than people. I know people just look at table and go, oh, top six facing bottom six. Oh, top six are going to win. Don't look that deep into it. Honestly, they're playing well. They've just not been scoring, and they've got a guy who we know can score, especially for our first half of the season. He might do the same for them. He might end up scoring 30 goals before January and then not do it for the rest of the season, but we'll see.
Yeah, it is. It does feel like one of those sides at the minute, Andy, because it is still early days, and obviously we look at Blackpool when we played them. What was the 23rd when we played them, and it's just a good start versus a bad start. There's a couple of sides at the minute, I think, in the top six that you probably wouldn't expect to be there come the end of the season. But it depends how long they can sort of ride that wave, and if they can keep that up. But in terms of Port Vale, just it seems very Wimbledon-esque in the way in which this game could potentially go. Of they're going to probably make it hard for us. They're not going to. I can't see them coming out and play really expansive and be attacking against us because one, they're away from home, and two, they just seem to stay in games and sometimes get a little bit dominated in that, but do have the resolve and resilience to not go 3-0 down and then sort of pack it in from there. They do seem to have a die by the sword attitude and just keep blocking stuff and keeping teams out.
I think Craig's got it right. If they follow the blueprint to Blackpool, just defending the first half and let us tire ourselves out, run ourselves out of ideas. It's going to be an interesting game, I think, because you can look at it more than one way. 9 games, they've lost 5, they've drawn 2 and lost 2, but they've won the last 2 games against Exeter and against Mansfield. And dear me, against Mansfield, the last time out, they scored a 95th minute penalty by Ronan Curtis. That's all we need. Another not just a bit, well into added time goal. We don't need that. We don't need that. Goodness me. Of course, Darren Moore's coming back, who for me, towards the end of his career, were a stalwart for us in the centre of the defence, and most notably when he got sent off against his old club, Doncaster Rovers, in the first half, and we're losing 1-0 at half time. For us then to win 4-1. So, well, hopefully a bit more of that. Martin Devaney, who I've always liked both as a player, as a coach, and truthfully as a human being as well. He'll be coming back as well because he's joined their coaching staff, and maybe that's got something to do with an upturn. I don't know, because people can have lots of different ideas and thoughts about whether or not he should have gone. I think personally thought it was a crying shame that he left us, but I understand from his point of view why he needed to do that. Devante Cole, he'll come back for the ball, he'll come out wide for the ball, particularly on the left, in my view. Don't leave him on his own out on the left if he comes for the ball, because if he gets the ball under control and turns and runs at us, then we're going to be in trouble. What we need to do is to bear in mind, because we had him for long enough, bear in mind that when the ball's coming to him, hit him and hit him hard. Don't tickle about. Get under him straight away. He don't like it. Get under him straight away. I remember he's going to be as fit as anybody. He didn't play last year hardly. I think he played minutes last year. So, he's going to be fit this year, isn't he? So don't give him a chance. Joe Gauci. Go Gauci in goal. Played last match for him in goal. So we know he's got long legs. So whether or not we can chip him from halfway line, who knows? And, he was blighted by injury when he was at Tusbury. Looked a pretty good goalkeeper for me. Jesse Deborah, we nearly signed him until he failed a medical. He's on he's in their defence on his way back. So, good luck to him after this game. And middle of midfield, directing operations, Sheffield Wednesday's own George Byas, that obviously Darren knows all about from their time at Hillsborough together. A player that I think a number of our fans, me included, would have liked us to sign. So, a good player, a quality player, and we've got to can't take them lightly. If it's a training session, they'll beat us. It's as simple as that. They'll claim 3 league games on the trot. But if we play like we can play, don't tickle about with it, go forward with purpose, and we did do that in the first half against Blackpool, but show the end result, don't snatch at chances. Have a go. When you're running into space, just have a go. Have a go at them. We've got wingers, depending on how you look at it. We've got Vickers on the right side, and although he's not officially a winger, he's a left back. We've got my mate Nate Beckett at left back, who can get at him down the wing and take players on and get across him. Need to do that. We'll have McGoldrick back who can receive the ball, turn and play it in behind the defence for Better to run onto. We need to do some of that. But keep the ball, cut the ball back. Don't keep it away. Keep it away from Gauci, because he'll just crouch down and catch it. He don't have to jump very high, will he?
Grouch down?
Grouch down, yeah. Good goalkeeper. Good goalkeeper.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
I mean, we could rate do it. Port Vale on a tough game today against Ardsley.
We could do it and losing something like 6-0 or something like that.
No, not that. Just a rate hard.
7-0. Go for 7-0.
No, I'm thinking more rate hard for 1-0 loss. Like, it's a little bit annoying. Last minute, sack a goal kind of thing. Not that training session like we took part in yesterday. It's really difficult and hard.
Go back 2 years. First game of the season, 7-0 we done them. 7-0. We want some more of that. Devante Cole hat-trick. What we need is Devante to step up, do the right thing, and score a hat-trick again of own goals. That's what we need. Help us out a bit, because we're not getting them on target. We need Devante to rise like a salmon from one of our corners and head it into their own top corner 3 times.
No, just as many as 3.
I'll settle for 3.
I mean, to be fair, there was some sort of maverick on that day who said we didn't play rate well, and then end of season we didn't actually get through playoffs. Everyone got a bit carried away after that win. I don't know who possibly said that.
Get under them and get at them. That's all it needs. If we get under them and get at them, we'll beat them.
Honestly, Mike Bassett should make a comeback, shouldn't he? 4-4-2, kick it high and kick it hard.
Or we could just run at the side of them and let them play and be all nicey.
Oh, they've just gone 1-0 down, 8th minute.
That's the modern game. Oh, there you go. That's their game over then. It's a shame. Dean, how do you feel this one? Because, as we've said so far, a difficult side to break down. If Wimbledon's anything to go by, a game that was sort of decided by moments in terms of McGoldrick up one end, could have tapped it in when we go 1-0 up, didn't, and then they come down the other end and score, which seemed to really, obviously, a moment like that of you've nearly scored to now you haven't scored, is really of the opposite ends of a game. Another side that's probably going to play similar to that in terms of digging in deep and making it hard and making it difficult. Do you reckon there's anything we can sort of take from that Wimbledon game in terms of how we can approach it? Because there was a little bit like we looked all right up until that Wimbledon goal, and it almost seemed like mistakes started to creep in, almost trying a little bit too hard to create. And it came at the cost of a couple of mistakes, and then their second goal was just frustrating more than anything else.
I think on the day, it's as you've said before. I think we could have won at Wimbledon quite easily. Not only with McGoldrick's miss, which obviously then immediately led to their goal. I mean, they were at it without really troubling us a lot of the time, and we were sloppy for their first goal. And yeah, I mean, I think Andy's right in the respect that if we get at them, which we didn't really do against Wimbledon, we tried to play and play and play, and it worked for a certain length of time until it didn't work. And then when it didn't work, we looked a bit lost. Well, what do we do now, kind of thing? And they upped it and started kicking long and doing all the things that if you play, inevitably you do, because you want to get back into their penalty area. I think Port Vale will set up a bit differently. I think they've got 3 really strong centre backs. I think they've got 5 to pick from. Deborah's obviously one of them, although I suspect he probably won't play. Humphreys is a good, experienced player. No nonsense defending. A bit like I was hoping that we would see a bit more of in our team. They play 3-5-2. Where I think we can do them is down the flank, and I think that might leave Connor with a slight dilemma in terms of. I actually thought Cleary played pretty well, and I think he was as good as anybody on our side, if not better. He looked dangerous. He gave the fullback some real trouble, not only in the first half, but also towards the end of the second half. I thought he did particularly well. So when you play a 3-5-2 and you're not matching them up, you've got to stop their wing backs, because that's where all their strength is going to come from in attack. Now, if you play Cleary and Ogbetter and Vickers and Watson, basically you're twoing them up down the flank. And as much as Devante can be quite dangerous when he's coming in from the left, as Andy said, the vast majority of his goals come from crosses. And if we can stop those crosses from the wing backs, then I think we'll get joy. So it's an interesting one. I mean, I personally would play Cleary, and that would mean then that Phillips would have to probably play a 10 role. Otherwise, there's a great gap down the left.
Who would come out in that though for Cleary to come in? Because that's the one conundrum I have of who drops out for him.
Well, I've been disappointed recently with David McGoldrick, frankly, because I think he's given the ball away so often. And I think he
play with 12 men.
Sorry?
Play with 12 men.
Oh, well, yeah, we could do that.
There we go.
We could do that. But I
Well,
think
make
he
it
might
even,
do.
won't it? 12 against 12, because referee will be on their side, won't he?
That's not like you to mention
Even if-
referee before games even
Oof.
started.
Get it in first.
I'm not even sure it's been announced who referees for this game yet.
Don't matter. Don't matter. It'll be
No,
a
I
wrong
think-
one.
I just think McGoldrick would be a really, really good impact sub from 60 minutes if we need him. And I think the way to play against 3-5-2 is to play two wingers. That's my view.
No, I'm just interested because I was having the same thought in my own head of who would come out from that front three of sort of Vickers, McGoldrick, and DKD to sort of fit him in. So, yeah, fair enough. I'm not. I think if you're going to play wingers, it probably McGoldrick would be the one that I potentially drop for it. Yeah, get your thoughts down in the comments below on that one. I do find that a little bit of a conundrum we've got at the minute in terms of trying to get Ray's clear in. Prediction time, Craig. What are you reckoning then to Saturday?
I think it's gonna be close. Like I say, I'm gonna go 2-1 to us. I think we'll probably just edge them, but I think it'll be a tight run game, and I don't think there's gonna be either team be able to run off with it. But I think we've got enough to just edge them out, especially with being at home as well. I think that's gonna be the main thing that gets us over there. Obviously, having fans in his corner. So yeah, 2-1.
2-1, Andy.
Well, can I just say, for the last match against Brighton, there were 50 predictions, and we were that positive. 24 said Brighton would win, and most said Brighton would win very well. But only one person, there were lots of 5-1s, 4-1s, 4-0s, 5-0s. There only one person got the exact score of 6-0. So I hope Philip Ty realises that the chicken dinner is in the post waiting. He'll need to collect it from the post office. Oh, he might have to warm it up a bit though. Well, I think we're going to win 3-1. We're going to go for a Smithy special 3-1. We're going to find our shooting boots. We're going to get at them. We're not going to pranny about. We're going to get under them, and we're going to put them to the sword. One of the goals might be an own goal from Devante though.
I love how you down this hill that Devante Goal's going to score an own goal. Dean.
I've got absolutely no confidence whatsoever in us keeping a clean sheet. So, Port Vale score almost entirely always our ex-players score against us. So it'll probably be Devante. I'm with Andy 3-1.
Devante's going to have a busy day. 3 own goals and a goal for himself. It's going to be a heck of a day for him. If this shows anything to go by. I think.
Oh, the goal.
Yep. I think we'll win 1-0. I just think they're just gonna be a horrible team to play against. I'm going 1-0 on the basis of the fact of it seemed very much structured in the way that we made our subs last night as well. Once the game had gone after Diego Gomez decided to turn his Roberto Carlos from 45 yard out. I think the right on the wall then, and you could see almost the type of subs we made as well of Jack Shepherd going off for Earl, Luke going off after an hour. It seemed all very very structured in terms of them going off with an eye on Saturday. I'll go 1-0. We'll grind it out. I just hope that they're still Arsenal game still 1-0.
Yeah, still 1-0.
That's it. They're still in it. Keep digging in Port Vale. Could get one back here. Game on. Well and truly. Make sure you're knackered for Saturday. Right, we'll be back.
What did Woody say again? I missed Woody's.
2-1 to us.
2-1. Nice one, Woody.
Right, we'll be back on Saturday with instant reaction outside the club shop where we'll be reacting to the Port Vale game and also previewing Notts County because we played Notts County on Tuesday.
And I'm going.
Correct. Wow.
There's
Tracy won't be there. Tracy will be at soft play.
On
The 5-year-old.
On Saturday or on Tuesday?
She's going to match. No, on Saturday.
Oh.
She's going to match, but she's got to show a lack of commitment by getting straight off to soft play and not doing instant reactions. So it'll probably just be me and Dean talking.
Well, every time you two have done it, weather's been absolutely awful.
It'll chuck it down with rain and all.
Yeah, so make sure you
We
bring a
could do
coat.
we could do a song and dance.
Come and
Singing
join
in
us,
the
Woody.
rain.
So I'm not on my own with him. Come and
Singing
join me,
in the
Woody.
rain.
You're just trying to pull anyone in now, just in case it might not rain if you do that. Right, we'll be back on Saturday. We'll see you there, you Reds.
Yes.